Hello, ESOL 5. Welcome to week 1 of marking period 4. You will see that my screen is showing you MCPS Classroom, not Google Classroom. So the big news is that in ESOL, we are switching from using Google Classroom to MCPS Classroom. I hope you will find that it's easy to use. I made the switch this last week to get ready, and I find it to be very easy to use and find that it's very organized and easy to know where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do and in what order. So after you watch this video, I want you to close out and then open up your MCPS Classroom for ESOL Level 5. And this is the screen you will see. I'm in the student view, not the teacher view. And you'll see that you should go in order. You'll see at the top what week it is. Then you'll see the warm-up. And there are two things under the warm-up. You do the first one first and the second one second. Then after that, there's some vocabulary. There's one thing for vocabulary. There's a reading, and you have the reading first and then the questions. And then finally a speaking. And then at the end, some reminders. You need to go in order. Don't skip, do warm up, do reading, or do speaking first. The lesson is set up to do from top to bottom in this order. Okay, so what are we doing in marking period 4? This week, we are starting with our to-do list here and an overview here, so an explanation of what's happening. This week, we're starting marking period 4, and we're thinking about this statement right here. Fairness is more important than freedom. And you have to think about whether you agree or don't agree, you disagree with this statement. This week, we will be studying the short story. It's called Harrison Bergeron by Kurt Vonnegut. This story is a science fiction story. That means it's not true, it's fiction. And it is set in the future. It was written a long time ago, the story, but the story is set in the year 2081 and is about a society where all citizens are made equal. In this society, no one is allowed to be more beautiful, to be smarter, or have more physical abilities than anyone else. The government enforces this law to keep all people equal. So we're going to be thinking about this idea of, is fairness more important than freedom? So the next thing you'll see down here is a to-do list. This is the first thing in my MCPS Classroom, this tab here. You can always come back to the to-do list to help you remember what is everything we have to do this week, and here are the due dates, when are they due. On your screen, you will also see an MCPS Classroom. After you finish something, reading something, you see the next tab. It's important to look at everything before you click next. So the first activity is a listening to write. So you're going to watch this video, and then you are going to write a response to this writing prompt. Fairness is more important than freedom. Do you agree or disagree? In this box, you are going to write your feelings about that. It's supposed to be 100 to 200 word reflection, and then you will post your response. This is a class discussion, so everyone can see what you wrote. If we go back to the to-do list, when we go back to this to-do list, you'll see that the discussion question is due on Tuesday. We have our Zoom meeting Tuesday afternoon, so if you've done your discussion question, everyone can participate in that. Okay, so I'm going forward again. After you do your listening and you write your response here in this box for the class discussion, go to the next page. Here you'll see a link where you are supposed to do your vocabulary and your notes for the week. You'll open up this document, and when you open up this document, it's going to look like this. Oops. It's going to have 3 vocabulary words. You can use an online dictionary to match the words to the correct definition. There's a list of definitions. And then there's a place for you to take notes while you're reading the story, Harrison Bergeron. So here is the story. One of the great things about MCPS Classroom is it has this tool here called Immersive Reader at the top. You see in yellow where it says if you click on that, it will read the story to you. So you can listen to the story. I want you to notice in the story right here in parentheses in darker print, it says guiding question number 1. There are 8 places in the story, 8 questions where it says a question and it tells you to stop and take notes. That's when you would go back to the other document we had in the last tab where we had vocabulary and notes, and it's a place for you to write down some notes to help you answer these questions. You will be able to use these notes at the end of the reading when you take a little quiz. So you should stop. There are 8 questions, and you will go into the questions. Here they are, and you take your notes on them, and you will be able to use this while you're reading. Okay, so after you're done reading the story, you'll click the next button. You can read it more than one time if you need to. You can read the story as many times as you need to. You're going to take the quiz. Another nice thing about MCPS Classroom is you're allowed to take the quiz 2 times. So if you don't like your score in the first one, you can try again, and again, you can use your notes. After you take the quiz, there's a quick speaking prompt. So at the beginning of the story, before you read the story, you watched the video and you wrote in the discussion whether you think fairness is more important than freedom. In this speaking prompt, it says you were asked to write about whether fairness is more important than freedom. Now that you have read the story, has your position changed? Why or why not? And you click this button up here where it says submit assignment. You guys have used the speaking tool before in MCPS Classroom for other speaking assignments and for progress checks. You'll click on that. There's a place to record and submit your response. Okay, so your grades for this week are all of the activities, like the speaking prompt and the listening activity and the vocabulary. Those are all homework grades, and the 8-question comprehension quiz is a formative grade. Okay, so the very last thing, you'll know you're finished with everything when you get to the page. It says week 1 wrapping up and looking ahead. There's a little checklist here asking you if you did the 5 things on here for the week, and it tells you about what you need to do to look ahead. So I'm going to go back to the home page and go back to the very first thing. And again, this little to-do list is a nice way to stay organized. Don't forget, on Tuesday at 12:40, we have our live class check-in on Zoom. The Zoom invitation right now is it's still in Google Classroom. I will also post it on MCPS Classroom for you to find the invitation. It's every week at the same time, Tuesday at 12:40. You also know that you can email me or text me with the Remind app. If you have questions, you don't have to wait until Tuesday, or if for some reason you don't come to the Zoom on Tuesday or you have questions another day, you can email me or use the Remind app to ask me your question. So hope you guys had a good weekend and use this checklist to get started. And again, be thinking about this. This is a very interesting story. Science fiction is kind of fun. It's thinking about what if certain things happen in the future, what would it be like? And, usually it makes you think about whether you agree or disagree with the way the things are in the future. So again, I hope you had a great weekend. Get started looking at this, and I look forward to seeing you on Zoom on Tuesday. Bye, guys.